So, my name is Irina Vladimirovna, and I welcome you into our webinar. Yeah, we do need a sound check. So, yeah, it seems like everything is working. Great. Well, I'm really excited about that. So, what we're going to do today, I will be sharing my screen through this webinar with you. And because of that, I need to establish some ground rules. I need to ask you to do the following. You know, because there are so many of you, I'm asking you not to use your cameras. Please keep your cameras off, as well as your microphones. This time I'm the only person speaking here. So another thing that I will be asking you to do a bit later, this is, well, at least I plan it to be a practice webinar, a place and time when you will actually do some real work, when you will do the tasks, one task in our case. So I will ask you to write in our chat room, in our chat box here in Zoom. I will ask you to write phrases. I will ask you to write, I don't know, plus or minus signs or something else. So I hope you can help me with that. And I guess I can start sharing. Give me a second. I need to open the presentation. Here it comes. Okay, yay. Okay, so this is gonna work this way. You see in front of you on the screen now, the topic of our today's webinar. It's in Russian because it's taken from ЕГЭ exam. That's the type of task we are working today on. And below it, you'll see that, well, basically, this is a true, false, or not stated type of task. So, couple of words about the organizers and about myself. These webinars are a big project of Institute of International Education, which is part of Moscow Pedagogical State University, the leading teaching university in Russia. We are a unique institution with a really exciting double diploma program that we do in association with London University. We take in excellent students, the ones like you, because I believe that you are excellent and you will succeed in the exam and later in your university life. And we have also excellent faculty working with those students. Once again, my name is Irina Vladimirovna. I am an associate professor at the Institute of International Education. I teach English language and also I prepare students for international language examinations. And another fact that I would like you guys to know is that I'm a Fulbrighter and I studied in the United States for 1 year and worked there a little bit. So what we are looking at today. I know that yesterday, at the webinar from yesterday, you looked at the structure of listening part. You had an overview of all sections that exist there. Today, we are going to focus on one section in particular. We are going to work on the second task in the listening section, or listening part 2. Which is a true, false, not stated exercise, where you hear a recording, you see a number of statements, and you have to say whether they are true, false, or there is no such information whatsoever. This part, if you complete this section successfully, you get 7 points, which is, if my math is good, a third of total points you can get for the listening section. So I told you that I will be asking you to write to me from time to time. So this is the first time I'm asking, just to test it, a question. From everyone present, did any one of you attend another webinar that I gave in April. Did you guys attend the webinar about writing a letter? If you can be please so kind and write in the chat yes or no, please do so. I'm not gonna judge you. If you say no, that's totally fine. I mean, I just need to test the system. Okay, it seems to be working, seems that we are doing good. Okay, and I seem to have quite a lot of new people here. Okay, we're about to start our practice. We're about to look at the task, and I really appreciate if you keep being active, if you keep writing to me in the chat, but if you prefer, I will ask you to keep some notes. I will ask you to answer some exercises, and if you prefer to do it on a piece of paper, I'm fine with that. If you prefer to keep notes on your phone, I'm fine with that. Just, I need some people to actually talk to me here as well. Okay, moving on. And we're not moving on, sorry. Yay. So this is an example of task 2 in the listening section. It's in Russian again, because it's taken from the instructions of the exam, actually. So what it tells us? It tells us that, because it's a listening section, you're about to hear a recording, but this time it's going to be a dialogue. All those tasks require 2 people talking to each other. So this is an exchange, that is a dialogue. And you are also given 7 statements from A to G that you will see on the exam blank on the day of your test. And your task is to decide if those statements are true, false, and there is a third option that I'm gonna talk about a little bit later. So how do we decide? If the statement is true, if you think it's true, it has to agree with the recording that you hear. It has to mean the same to what you hear in the audio. Why I say it has to mean exactly the same, I'll comment on that again in a couple of minutes. So true means that it is the same content. Your statement tells you the same thing that you hear in the recording. False means the opposite. It means that this information is not correct. The information in your statement is not correct. The recording tells you, the audio tells you something different. Maybe it just, I don't know, does not agree with the fact. Maybe it gives you different details, but it's not the same thing. Then it's false. The third option that you are given here, not stated, most students find this surprisingly most difficult to identify. I don't really know why. I can't comment on that. The idea is that when you see a statement and your recording, your audio doesn't talk about it at all, doesn't give you any information about the matter presented in the statement, then you can be absolutely sure that this is a not stated option. The audio might mention something from your statement, from the sentence you have there. It might mention the same person. It might mention some details, but overall meaning is unknown to us. Basically, not stated means that I don't know. You can't really decide because you don't have enough information. You can't decide if it's true or if it's false. So, not stated. You are also asked to put in your answers into your table. And here, I'm operating for this webinar, I'm operating with these true, false, not stated identifications. You also see numbers 1, 2, and 3. So when you fill in the blank, when you fill in the table, you're supposed to put in the numbers. So true is number 1, false is number 2, not stated is understandably number 3. So you will be doing like a line of numbers, that's it. Also, we know that you're going to hear the recording twice. And another thing that you know is that there will be instructions. What you see on the screen right now is, well, the written instructions before your task. They are going to pretty much repeat the same thing in the audio before the task starts. And then you hear the dialogue twice. And they also give you time before they start the dialogue. They give you time to read the statements. They give you about 20 seconds. That is not very much, not much time, but it's enough to read it through. I'll tell you what you can do about it. They also give you about 15 seconds at the end of the task to check your answers one more time. So, for the purposes of our today webinar, I will be playing the recordings not twice, but mostly just one time. Although I do have a couple of tasks where I will play either the whole recording or I will play the dialogue at least twice. You might find that the tasks themselves quite similar to each other, but I believe that practice makes perfect. So the more you do, the more you practice solving these tasks, the better you do actually at the exam day. So let's see what we have here. I also have some tips for you. Before we actually look at some example tasks, I would like to share some advice, some tips how to make your life a little bit easier with this second part of listening section. And the first point there is me asking you to not waste your time and actually read. We have just looked at the instructions and I've just told you that they repeat the instructions before they actually start playing the dialogue. I suggest that instead of listening to these instructions, instead of sitting and listening to the recording at that point, you spend this time differently. Why? Why I suggest you to do that? Because I believe that you know what to expect. You know what type of task you're about to do. You know what this task requires you to do. So you can actually make your life better, and you can actually spend more time on reading the statements, on working with those statements the way I suggest we'll work a bit in a second. So do not pay much attention to the instructions in the recording, to the instructions in the audio. Focus your attention on what you see in front of you. Focus on the statements. Read them through, understand what they mean, and work with those. Next thing that I would like to highlight to you. Well, you know the concept of keywords. Something important in your sentence, something that helps you find the necessary information. I think we can use this concept to work with those statements in the listening section. You have to read them through, and then I suggest that you try and identify the main points. Try to pay attention to the details in those sentences, in those statements, because more often than not, you will have to decide whether the statement true or false based on if those details were true or not really true. So work with keywords. If you can underline something right in this paper that you are given, or I don't know, try to remember it at least. Try to remember what you have to listen to. Another thing about those keywords, you have to be careful at the same time, because the statements are worded differently. You are not going to hear absolutely the same thing in the audio. They use paraphrasing, so that's what you have to be on lookout for. Think of synonyms. Think of words that mean the same thing to those keywords. Think of the general idea of the sentence and listen for that. Don't listen for the exact words they use in those sentences. They are not going to be there. Listen for the idea, listen for the content, and for synonyms, things that mean similar thing. Then, another thing that you can do while listening while listening to the dialogue, try to take notes. And by that, I mean that when you hear the recording for the first time, when they played first time, mark the statements already, like on the go. Do it while you are listening. Don't wait till the recording is over. Try to use short notes. It's no point, I guess, to write true or false or not stated in full. I suggest that you use the abbreviations, just use the first letters, T, F, and S. Or if you prefer and find it more comfortable, you can use the numbers 1, 2, 3. That might also work. And the final piece of advice here is to check your answers. When they play the recording for the second time, it's your chance to check your answers, to check that you've got everything right, to make sure that what is true, to make sure that what you think is not stated is actually really not there. With this not stated, with not stated option, I guess you can do it differently as well. Maybe you will find it easier to mark true and false sentences and probably put question marks next to those you are not so sure about. So when you hear the recording for the second time, pay special attention to those sentences, to those statements that you marked with a question mark or an S. See that it's actually correct. Okay. Let's try and do some practice. So what I have for you here is, well, an example task. Let's try and do this. You're presented with 7 statements. I'm going to give you half a minute to read them through, and then I'll talk to you again. So read the statements, see that you understand the general idea. Okay, I hope you managed to read everything, because this is about the time they give you officially to read through the statements. So next thing, yeah, since everything is fine. Next thing I'm asking you to do. Guys, I talked about keywords, so let's look at every statement individually, and can you please write in our chat box here what you think the keywords for every statement are? Let's look at A. Lucy wasn't at school for several days. Give me your ideas. What are the key words here for the first statement A? School. Several days. Wasn't. Okay. Someone needs to change the language. Okay, great. Okay, thank you guys. Let's go for the next statement. Lucy felt bad because of overeating. Overeating. Anything else? Bad and overeating, felt bad. Okay, well, I'm trying to keep it fast, so stay with me. Next statement, Lucy's mother is a doctor. Keywords here, doctor, mother and doctor, okay. Mother, hospital. Hospital is not in the statement, no. Mother, doctor, okay. Going on, D. Peter did exercises with the map of the UK. Map of the UK. He did exercises. Well, that's kind of the main idea of the sentence. Try to think of some details. Exercise, map of the UK, with the map. Geography. Okay, I need to comment on that. Guys, when I talk about keywords, mostly you're doing fine. But I need words that are actually in the statement that you actually see on the screen, not your way to sum up this sentence, but some words that you are going to focus here. Okay, let's move on. E. Peter is not afraid of the test. Not afraid. Test. Okay. Yay, good guy, not afraid. Great. Next one, F. Peter offers his notes to Lucy. Offers notes. Notes and Lucy, notes. Okay. Good job. And finally, the last statement that we have here, Lucy and Peter are going to review for the test later. Review later. Okay. Well, that's terrific, you know. I have the next slide where I did and underlined all the keywords that I found there. You managed to mention all of them. So that's just for you to sum it up. And we're going to do the next thing. For this task, I'm not going to play a recording for you. I'm actually, oh no, I am going to play a recording for you, sorry. So let's hear that. When you already have the keywords, so try to mark these sentences, these statements, true or false, and pay attention to keywords. Oops. I need to, whoops, wait a sec. One more time, and it's not working. Why is it not working? Because I have to close that. Okay, finally, listen to the recording, guys.
Now we are ready to start.
Hi, Lucy. You weren't at school today. What is the matter? I was worried about you.
Hi, Peter. It's nothing serious, actually. I just felt a bit sick in the morning, so my mom let me stay at home.
You poor thing. And are you feeling better now?
Yeah, much better, thank you. I guess it must have been the pizza that I ate yesterday. That was the reason for my bad stomach ache. I had too much. But now, yeah, I feel all right. I think I won't have to miss any more lessons this week.
But you haven't been to the doctor's office, have you? Won't you have problems at school because you missed classes? When I was ill last month, I brought a medical certificate to school.
Well, my mom called our class teacher, so I don't think there will be any problems. Besides, we don't have many lessons on Wednesdays. How was geography, by the way? Did you take a test?
Oh, no, we didn't. But we revised the material for the test. The teacher asked several people to do exercises with the map of the UK at the blackboard, and then we had a sort of contest in groups where we had to find different mountains, rivers, and lakes. The quicker the better. That was fun. And we also checked our homework and asked the teacher questions if we were not sure about the answers. You know, I feel well prepared for tomorrow's test now.
Wait a second. Are we going to take the test tomorrow? I can't believe it.
Yes. Our teacher said that we are starting a new topic next week, so we have to finish this one tomorrow. Do you need any help with geography?
If you can lend me your exercise book with notes and checked homework, that would save me hours.
I am afraid I can't give you my exercise book right now because I have to revise the material for the test myself. But if you call me in 2 hours, we could probably study for the test together.
Sounds like a great idea, and thanks so much for offering to help. It's so nice to have a friend like you.
No problem. See you later then. Bye for now.
Bye, Peter.
You have 15 seconds to complete the task.
Yay. Well, that's the time they give you at the end of every task to check your answers. Guys, I hope you did well. I hope you managed to mark those statements. And I'm actually going to help you with that. I'm going to present you with the extracts for the recording. If you notice, they match the statements. So I'm asking you to check your answers. Look at the statement on the left. That's what you get in the test, in the exam. On the right, you have extracts from the recording with the relative information. Check it against your notes, check it against the statements, and decide finally if those statements are true, false, or not stated. Just about 15 seconds to do that. You will notice, I guess, that there are two statements that say no information. Well, that means that, there was nothing about statement C, for example. You may argue that you heard Lucy talking about her mother, but here it says that Lucy's mother is a doctor. And in the recording, there was nothing about her mother's job. We don't know nothing about her mother's profession. About statement D, which is also marked no information. Peter did exercises with the map of the UK. We know that someone worked with the map of the UK. We cannot be certain that it was Peter. So again, we don't have enough information to decide. I forgot to mention one more little trick, one more important thing to remember that concerns these not stated answers. You remember that the statements you get in the exam, they follow the recording in the same order. So you can't have statement C before statement B. You can't have statement E somewhere at the end of your recording. The order follows the audio. The statements follow the audio 100% always. So it might help you to decide with not stated options. If you sure, if you're sure that, well, statement B is, for example, true, and then you notice that you're already hearing something about the test, well, that's like 2 statements down. That kind of hints that statements C and D were not really mentioned. So I'm asking you to share your ideas now with me. So tell me whether those statements are true or false. A, B, C, D, E, F. Either give me a line of letters or just give me a line of numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you please do that? Okay, yeah, if you prefer to just like a line of numbers, that's awesome. More answers? Okay, then. I guess we can check. Let's see. Let's see what we have here. So, false, true, not stated and not stated, true, false, and true again. If you were right, give yourself some credit. Give yourself a round of applause. Okay, so that was the example of the practice I would like you to apply when you do these tasks. Now, I suggest that you actually work. Let's practice a bit more. So on the next slide, whoops, no, here, no, on the next slide, you see another 7 statements. Please read them through and note down some keywords. I'm not asking you to share the keywords in the chat this time. Do it for yourself, but keep note. I'm gonna give you another half a minute to read it through and take notes of keywords. Okay, I hope you managed to read all 7 statements. Now, I'm going to play the recording for you. Again, because we're a little bit short of time, I'm doing it once only. You mark those statements true, false, or not stated. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Okay. Listen.
Now we're ready to start.
Hi, Lucy. I haven't seen you for a while. How are you doing?
Oh, hi, Donald. Good to see you. I've been away traveling the whole year.
Oh, so you've actually taken a gap year, have you?
Yes. I decided to see the world before I started school again. I wanted some freedom and excitement.
Wow. I was also thinking about it, but in the end, I decided against it. Besides, I got accepted by a really good university.
Oh, congratulations. I wasn't so lucky. So rather than going to a college which was not my first choice, I decided it was a great chance for me to travel.
Sure. So how was it? Where did you go?
Well, I've been to Kenya, India, and Australia, and it was great.
No kidding. That's half the world. Sounds like something from a Discovery Channel program. How did you manage it? Wasn't it terribly expensive?
It would have been if I had just traveled.
What did you do then?
I worked as a volunteer for different organizations, mostly those that deal with sea pollution. I've collected so much plastic garbage last year, it features in practically every dream that I have now. The moment I lie down and close my eyes, I'm back there, with my rubber gloves and mask on, and tons of stinky garbage to collect.
Gosh, that sounds horrible. It must have been really hard work.
Well, it was, and it wasn't. I did have some days off, and I did make good friends. And I'll tell you, with a good joke and a hearty laugh with your friends, most disgusting piles of garbage can be bearable. Besides, I've seen such beautiful places, especially when they were clean after our good work.
That's amazing. I'm so impressed. I don't think I would ever be able to do anything like that. I mean, I totally support the idea, cleaning our planet of all that garbage and protecting wildlife and everything. But it is one thing to just support it in theory and do everyday things like recycling, and quite a different story when you actually go to all these places and do it.
Speaking of wildlife, that was probably the most heartbreaking aspect of what I did. Sometimes we found little turtles and fish and seabirds in all that garbage, tangled in nets and unable to free themselves. Oftentimes we managed to save them, but not always.
Oh, that must have been hard.
Yeah. Hey, Donald, I really need to hurry now, but I didn't have a chance to ask you about your year at the university. Let's meet for a coffee one of these days.
Sure, I'll also bring my little brother Andy if you don't mind. He's so much into sea animals. He would be thrilled to hear your stories about saving them. How about tomorrow around 5 at the Never Late for Latte coffee house?
Perfect. I'll see you there.
Bye.
You have 15 seconds to complete the task.
Okay, so those 50 seconds to complete the task is for you to check if you marked all the statements. And again, I'm sharing with you the extracts from the recording. Again, you'll see that they match the statements here. So have a look and check your answers against these extracts you see there. Check true, false, or not stated. I would like to draw your attention to statement C here. During her gap year, Lucy visited at least 3 different continents. And what you heard in the recording, wait a sec, guys, that was a little bit early. She said that she went to Kenya, India, and Australia. You see, in this statement, they talk about 3 continents. They don't talk about countries. So you have also to use your knowledge, well, this time of geography, to understand that Kenya, India, and Australia are in different parts of the world. That's what I mean when I say that they use paraphrasing, that they don't use exactly the same words. Okay, you are already sharing your answers with me, so let's take a look. Anyone else who wants to share? Yep. Okay, couple more seconds, and I'll show you the real answers. Okay, let's see what we have. That's the correct answers. 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3. Sounds fun. Okay, let's go on from these statements and actually move a little bit further. I'm going to skip practice 2 and go exactly into practice 3 because I think you are ready. So what you see here is another 7 statements. I'm going to give you, this time a little bit longer, about a minute, to read them through, think about keywords, think about the general idea of the sentence, and some synonyms if you want. But this time, I'm going to play the recording twice. Take time to read and think of keywords. Okay, so when I played the recording the first time, I need you guys to mark these statements, 1, 2, 3, true, false, not stated. Let's start. Where is it?
Now we're ready to start.
Hi, Giles. What's up?
Hello, Louise. Everything's great. Can't wait till summer vacation.
Do you have any special plans for the summer?
You bet. I'm going to Moscow.
Wow, Giles. I had no idea you were interested in Russia.
I'm not. I'm going to the 16th International Tchaikovsky competition.
You amaze me. That's an even bigger surprise. I had no idea you were into classical music.
I'm not, but my younger brother Tony is. He is a pianist. He goes to Juilliard School in New York, and he is going to take part in the Tchaikovsky competition. He was selected to go. Can you imagine?
That's incredible.
I know, right? That was his childhood dream. He was always telling me about this Van Cliburn guy.
Who's Van Cliburn?
He was a Texan pianist who won the first prize at the very first Tchaikovsky competition back in 1958. Tony knows every little thing about him.
It sounds like your brother is quite a fan. So, what are you going to do in Moscow while you're there, besides going to the competition?
My main role, of course, is to help my brother and make sure he eats well, gets enough rest, and provide him with moral support.
Oh, come on. I'm sure a university student can take care of himself. Isn't there something in Moscow that you would like to see?
Actually, I'm very excited to see their Air and Space Museum. It's called the Museum of Cosmonautics.
That sounds cool.
I grew up in Washington, D.C., you see, and the National Air and Space Museum has always been my favorite out of all Smithsonian Institution museums. I spent all of my days off there.
I've never been to Washington, D.C. So, what are you expecting to see in the Air and Space Museum in Moscow?
I would love to see a replica of the Mir space station. I know you can actually go inside it and look around.
Sounds like you've got it all planned. Have you already got your visas and bought the tickets?
Oh yes, we're all ready to go. What are your plans for the summer?
As a matter of fact, I'm going to Paris. I've got a special grant for studying art in the Louvre.
That sounds fantastic. You are an art major, aren't you, Louise?
That's right. I'm learning book illustration and design. So in Paris, I'll be focusing on 17th century book illustrations.
Wow, that's so interesting. I guess we'll have something to talk about in September.
We sure will. Good luck to your brother. I hope he brings back a gold medal.
Thanks, Louise. Have a great trip.
You have 15 seconds to complete the task.
Okay, and I'm going to give you 15 seconds to look through your answers, and then I'll play the recording, the same recording, the second time. Okay, I hope you guys are ready. So the second hearing, listen, check your answers. Whoops, that was too early. Where is it? Here it comes.
Now we're ready to start.
Hi, Giles. What's up?
Hello, Louise. Everything's great. Can't wait till summer vacation.
Do you have any special plans for the summer?
You bet. I'm going to Moscow.
Wow, Giles. I had no idea you were interested in Russia.
I'm not. I'm going to the 16th International Tchaikovsky competition.
You amaze me. That's an even bigger surprise. I had no idea you were into classical music.
I'm not, but my younger brother Tony is. He is a pianist. He goes to Juilliard School in New York, and he is going to take part in the Tchaikovsky competition. He was selected to go. Can you imagine?
That's incredible.
I know, right? That was his childhood dream. He was always telling me about this Van Cliburn guy.
Who's Van Cliburn?
He was a Texan pianist who won the first prize at the very first Tchaikovsky competition back in 1958. Tony knows every little thing about him.
It sounds like your brother is quite a fan. So, what are you going to do in Moscow while you're there, besides going to the competition?
My main role, of course, is to help my brother and make sure he eats well, gets enough rest, and provide him with moral support.
Oh, come on. I'm sure a university student can take care of himself. Isn't there something in Moscow that you would like to see?
Actually, I'm very excited to see their Air and Space Museum. It's called the Museum of Cosmonautics.
That sounds cool.
I grew up in Washington, D.C., you see, and the National Air and Space Museum has always been my favorite out of all Smithsonian Institution museums. I spent all of my days off there.
I've never been to Washington, D.C. So, what are you expecting to see in the Air and Space Museum in Moscow?
I would love to see a replica of the Mir space station. I know you can actually go inside it and look around.
Sounds like you've got it all planned. Have you already got your visas and bought the tickets?
Oh yes, we're all ready to go. What are your plans for the summer?
As a matter of fact, I'm going to Paris. I've got a special grant for studying art in the Louvre.
That sounds fantastic. You are an art major, aren't you, Louise?
That's right. I'm learning book illustration and design. So in Paris, I'll be focusing on 17th century book illustrations.
Wow, that's so interesting. I guess we'll have something to talk about in September.
We sure will. Good luck to your brother. I hope he brings back a gold medal.
Thanks, Louise. Have a great trip.
You have 15 seconds to complete the task.
Okay, so that's it for the listening for this particular practice. This time, guys, I need you to share your answers with me. Wait a sec. Okay, most of you keep saying that Giles loves classical music. Well, he said that he's not a fan, so that seems to be true. Okay, let's look at the answers then. Whoops, where it is? Yay. So he's not a fan of classical music. You're absolutely right. Although, well, compare your answers to this and see how many points you've got correct. This piece was, I guess, pretty difficult because it talked a lot about classical music and it had lots of names, but that is what you can actually expect. They have like audios about different areas of knowledge, different areas of life, science, culture, arts, anything. Okay, the last thing that I would like you to do, I would like to give you, well, a taste of what it's going to be like at the exam. The next slide will present you with statements and another recording. And this time it will be full recording with instructions and 2 times dialogue. What I would like you to do, I would like you to try and use all the tips I've given you today and see how good you do at it. Okay, ready? Let's see. So here's the statements, here's the recording, and I'm gonna start right away. It's gonna be longish because it's a full recording of 7-something minutes, but try to use your time wisely. Let's go.
Задание 2. Вы услышите диалог. Определите, какие из приведенных утверждений A, G соответствуют содержанию текста. 1. True. Какие не соответствуют. 2. False. И о чем в тексте не сказано. То есть на основании текста нельзя дать ни положительного, ни отрицательного ответа. 3. Not stated. Занесите номер выбранного вами варианта ответа в таблицу. Вы услышите запись дважды. У вас есть 20 секунд, чтобы ознакомиться с заданием. Now we're ready to start.
Excuse me,
Yes?
Do you know how to get to Andrew's residence hall?
Ah, you're a freshman.
How did you guess?
Only freshmen live in Andrews Hall. That was my dorm last year, and I'm on my way there right now. You can walk with me if you like. It'll take some time.
Really? How long?
About 7 minutes. Can I help you with your bags, by the way? They look heavy.
Thank you. I didn't realize it was so far away from all the other buildings on campus.
Yeah, it does have a bad reputation of being far and isolated, but honestly, this is its only drawback. It's the best dorm ever. I wish I could stay there all the 4 years.
Well, that makes me feel a little better. What's so good about it?
Everything. First of all, food. Glorious food. Many students who even live across campus will make the trek to Andrew's cafeteria for its pizza. This is exactly what I'm doing now. And on weekends, you will see the brunch lines spanning out the door. The breakfast burritos are just incredible, and their yogurt bar is out of this world.
Sounds like I'll have to make the trek across campus just to avoid the lines.
Hey, don't be so negative. You will have an advantage. If you live in Andrews, you do not have to step outside to get to the dining hall, so all these lines are not for you.
Oh, okay. That sounds good. What are the other advantages?
More spacious rooms, higher ceilings, 2 really big walk-in closets in each room, and oh, the best thing ever is that there is a sink inside the room. You don't have to go to the common bathrooms to brush your teeth or get some water.
Common bathrooms. Ugh. I guess I'll have to get used to that.
You will. Another really cool advantage is Andrew's study.
What's that?
A perfect place to study, write a paper, or do a long reading. And it also has a printer. If you need silence to work, that's the place to go. Although,
What?
whatever is cooking in Andrew's dining hall, its smell wafts up to Andrew's study. It can be quite distracting if you are hungry.
That won't be a problem. Sounds like I've been very lucky to get into Andrews Hall. No more complaints from me.
Good. I'm Don, by the way. I'm majoring in chemistry.
Nice to meet you. I'm Nikki, short for Nicolette.
Nice to meet you, too. Have you decided on your major yet?
No, I'm undecided, but I'm leaning towards computer science.
Cool. It's good that you only have to declare your major the second year, isn't it? Well, here we are, Andrews Hall.
Wow, it's beautiful. Thank you for helping me.
Anytime. I'll see you around, Nikki.
Bye.
You have 15 seconds to complete the task. Now you will hear the text again. Now we're ready to start.
Excuse me,
Yes?
do you know how to get to Andrew's residence hall?
Ah, you're a freshman.
How did you guess?
Only freshmen live in Andrews Hall. That was my dorm last year, and I'm on my way there right now. You can walk with me if you like. It'll take some time.
Really? How long?
About 7 minutes. Can I help you with your bags, by the way? They look heavy.
Thank you. I didn't realize it was so far away from all the other buildings on campus.
Yeah, it does have a bad reputation of being far and isolated, but honestly, this is its only drawback. It's the best dorm ever. I wish I could stay there all the 4 years.
Well, that makes me feel a little better. What's so good about it?
Everything. First of all, food. Glorious food. Many students who even live across campus will make the trek to Andrew's cafeteria for its pizza. This is exactly what I'm doing now. And on weekends, you will see the brunch lines spanning out the door. The breakfast burritos are just incredible, and their yogurt bar is out of this world.
Sounds like I'll have to make the trek across campus just to avoid the lines.
Hey, don't be so negative. You will have an advantage. If you live in Andrews, you do not have to step outside to get to the dining hall, so all these lines are not for you.
Oh, okay. That sounds good. What are the other advantages?
More spacious rooms, higher ceilings, 2 really big walk-in closets in each room, and oh, The best thing ever is that there is a sink inside the room. You don't have to go to the common bathrooms to brush your teeth or get some water.
Common bathrooms. Ugh. I guess I'll have to get used to that.
You will. Another really cool advantage is Andrew's study.
What's that?
A perfect place to study, write a paper, or do a long reading. And it also has a printer. If you need silence to work, that's the place to go. Although,
What?
whatever is cooking in Andrew's dining hall, its smell wafts up to Andrew's study. It can be quite distracting if you are hungry.
That won't be a problem. Sounds like I've been very lucky to get into Andrew's hall. No more complaints from me.
Good. I'm Don, by the way. I'm majoring in chemistry.
Nice to meet you. I'm Nikki, short for Nicolette.
Nice to meet you, too. Have you decided on your major yet?
No, I'm undecided, but I'm leaning towards computer science.
Cool. It's good that you only have to declare your major the second year, isn't it? Well, here we are, Andrew's Hall.
Wow, it's beautiful. Thank you for helping me.
Anytime. I'll see you around, Nikki.
Bye.
This is the end of the task. You now have 15 seconds to check your answers.
Yay, and that's the end of our recording. So when you guys are ready, share your answers with me in the chat. Okay, let's collect more answers there. Anyone else who wants to submit the answer? Okay, 15 more seconds. Okay, so the answers are true, false, false, not stated, true, false. Compare these to yours. And I guess this brings me to the end of this practice. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen with you now. Yay, and take a look at you here. So I hope that something that we did today will help you at the exam. I hope now you have a better understanding of what you are facing and how to deal with it. How to deal with it maybe quicker than you used to do. How to understand these true or false concepts and this non-stated thing when you don't really know. Okay. I think I still have several minutes. If you have any last minute questions, I can answer one or two maybe. If not, yeah, we are just a little bit over our time, but it was worth it. I really wanted to do the last bit with you. Okay. Okay, it seems like you don't have any questions, so thanks a lot. Bye, guys. Good luck.